Chairman of the KOMENDA College of Education Governing Council, and the Bishop of the Cape Coast Diocese of Methodist Church, Ghana, Right Reverend Richardson Abuaje Andam, Honorable Deputy Minister for Education in charge of TVET, Mrs. Gifty Chum Ampofo, Nananum, members of the Governing Council of the KOMENDA College of Education, Principal Very Reverend Kwesinkum Wilson, PhD in brackets. That's how he writes his name. That's how I'm pronouncing it. If he writes Dr. Kwesinkum Wilson, I'll pronounce it as that. But he writes Very Reverend Kwesinkum Wilson into bracket, PhD. Representative of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor, we call him Didi Douglas D. Ajay. Principals of sister colleges of education present, convocation, alumni of the college, graduates, parents and guardians, spouses of graduates, because I just heard that you should go and produce. Spouses of graduates. Todd is here, Robin Todd, Chief Executive of the TTEL. Media personnel, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It gives me great pleasure to be here. And Chairman, the Deputy Minister knows I'm going to talk about our relationship with Methodist Church. I mentioned one to you before we came in. The next one is that my honorable self, her honorable self, and the principal's honorable self found ourselves in Gamsu around the same period of time. And so whilst myself and principal were in the singing group, actually principal was the organizer of the singing groups, and we carried drums. We carried things. We went on sites. We went on meetings. Every week we were out, to the extent that when we get to some villages, they say concert for Nabo, because they see us with the car, with the instruments and all that. And the Honorable Minister was great support to us. So you add it to the one I told you outside, and they fall in line. I wish to express my gratitude to the Governing Council for accepting my speakership for this ceremony. As historical as it is, today is a great day, and a great day is today. And I have mentioned that each time I get into this hall, I feel the emotions that happened in 1991, between 1990 and 1991, where in May of 1991, I sat behind this pillar and wrote my final exam. But in this church, in this hall, I listened to the Right Reverend Isaac Kwanzaa, a former bishop of Cape Coast, talk to us, and I asked myself, do we have Methodists who are soft to the man? And that day, I went out as a changed person, and it changed my life. And so each time I get into this hall, I become filled with emotions, not just the dying no, but these two things. They are significant in my life. I'll tell you that that day when we wrote the final exam, people went out jumping, throwing their books away, taking their shirts off, throwing them away. I didn't know somebody was observing me. Later when we met in the dining hall, she asked, why were you so quiet? When the others were jumping and throwing books, we thought that you'd be the leader in jumping and throwing the books. But I observed you were so quiet. Is anything the problem? I said, the journey had just begun. You know, the journey had just begun. So when I finished my exam, I was thinking about the next step forward. These are some of the things, when we come here, it comes back to us. I am happy to join in this celebration of great accomplishment of the staff of this college and the graduates who have been adequately prepared and well-built to make a change in the chosen field of endeavor to create the next generation and in the world. I was discussing how you have been cut out, what you are cut out for with Professor AJ. That if you pursue what you are cut out for, if you made to understand what you have been cut out for, you are not going to have any problem. And so understand what you have been cut out for. Today, as you leave this environment as graduates, you will have the glory to your story. I know each of you has a story, but here you are in the glory. By the way, everyone has a story, bitter or sweet. However, what you make of your story will make or mar the bigger picture. That is your future. Bishop Chairman, let me begin with a quote from Marcus Tullius Cicero, a Roman statesman, lawyer, scholar, philosopher, writer, and an academic skeptic who was influenced by the works of Aristotle, Plato, and Socrates. He asked, what nobler employment or more valuable to the state than that of the man who instructs the rising generation? Let me take it again. What nobler employment or more valuable to the state than that of the man who instructs the rising generation? Bishop Chairman, this question, whether answered or not, underscores the importance of teaching as a profession and a career, and the teacher who is well trained to help his or her learners to discover themselves and rise to their potentials. That teacher, well trained and equipped with requisite knowledge and skills to mold a generation. And this is what our graduating theme for today: training quality teachers for national development. I put it, KOMENDA College of Education in 75 years. Teacher education in Ghana is to prepare teachers to enable them function in the basic and second cycle schools and to develop and nurture them to become reflective and proficient practitioners capable of providing quality education for Ghanaian children. This is a quote from the Ministry of Education. The NCTE, now GTEC, also defines teacher education as a program of education, research, and training of persons to teach from pre-primary to higher education level. Teacher education is a program that is related to the development of teacher proficiency and competence that will enable and empower the teacher to meet the requirements of the profession and face the challenges therein. According to the Goose Dictionary of Education, teacher education means all the formal and non-formal activities, formal and non-formal. My emphasis on the non-formal, so that if you have to go and do a little farming, you have to go to the farm, you have to go to the piggery, you have to do this and do that. You don't say, we were here to study. Teacher education comprises all the formal and non-formal activities and experiences that help to qualify a person to assume responsibilities of a member of the educational profession or to discharge his responsibilities more efficiently. And so that is where we have the professional teacher and the non-professional teacher. If you like, call them the pupil teacher. Teacher education is a broad and comprehensive program which is meant to be involved in every community programs and extensive activities. namely adult education and non-formal education programs, literacy, and development activities of the society. Teacher education is ever evolving and dynamic. In order to help prepare teachers who are competent to face the challenges of the dynamic society, teacher education has to keep abreast of recent developments and trends. The crux of the entire process of teacher education has on its curriculum design, structure, organization, and transaction modes, as well as the extent of appropriateness. Researchers view teacher education as encompassing teaching skills, sound pedagogical theory, and professional skills. Teaching skills include providing training and practice in different techniques, approaches, and strategies that will help the teacher to plan and impact instructions, provide appropriate reinforcement, and conduct effective assessment. It includes effective classroom management skills, preparation and use of instructional materials, and communication skills. Pedagogical theory includes the philosophical, sociological, and psychological considerations that will enable the teacher to have a sound basis for practicing the skills in the classroom, which means that as teachers, we don't do what we do for no reason. We do what we do for a reason that is backed by theory. Professional skills include the techniques, strategies, and approaches that will help teachers to grow in the profession and also work towards the growth of the profession. The amalgamation of teaching skills, pedagogical theories, and professional skills will serve to create the right knowledge, attitude, and skills in the teacher that's providing holistic development. It is the teacher who is responsible for the implementation of the educational process at any stage. This shows that it is imperative to invest in the preparation of teachers so that the future of our nation will be secure. The importance of competent teachers in a nation's school system can be in no way overemphasized. Unless teachers in service are capable and committed, the educational system cannot be suitable and potential instrument in national development. The teacher, therefore, is very vital in the socio-economic and political engineering of any country that wants to develop. Who then is the teacher? A teacher is a professional. 1. A teacher is a professional. 2. Who imparts skills, knowledge, information, and attitude, among others, into learners. And listening to the speech by the Honorable Deputy Minister, we are supposed to show these when we go out. But above all, we are supposed to show the KOMENDA College way of training. That is what must show in us. Studies have shown that teachers' participation in high-quality teacher training programs can lead to higher quality teaching and consequently higher student achievement. And so if you put highly trained teachers like you are in our basic schools, we are envisaging a good result in the next years to come. Mr. Chairman, teacher education for national development, which is the crux of this delivery. The United Kingdom Department for International Development, DFID, has stressed the importance of education in national development in its annual 2002 report. Thus, education is at the heart of development. Education is basic to national development. Obviously, the standards and quality of the educational system and the capacity to innovate determine the place of growth and development of a nation. And as a country, we cannot take ourselves out. The countries that have made the greatest progress in reducing poverty are those which have combined effective and equitable investment in education with sound economic policies. And as the Honorable Deputy Minister said, when we are not able to fulfill our part of the bargain as educators, we should not be running to the Ministry of Finance or the Minister for Finance. We need to take our hours well as teachers, educators of the nation, and from that all things will come. Education enables people to use and extend their capabilities to develop skills to improve their livelihood and increase their earning potential. The focal points of national development are individual and societal change. And so you know the charge we have. Make change in that individual, bring change to the society at large. A nation cannot therefore be said to have developed when a significant percent of a population are not literate and there is decay in the country's educational system. National development must therefore be a route for change in all areas of culture, which include the economy, technology, and the environment, in such a way that physical and mental abilities of the citizenry are best positioned to achieve beneficial change. Ladies and gentlemen, our educational system, that is Ghana's educational system, should see a greater improvement because you are going out there as well-educated men and women to teach. Mr. Chairman, if you permit me, I will repeat. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana's educational system moving forward should see a greater improvement because you, among others, are going out there as well-educated men and women to teach. Number one. Number two, it is also because you were educated by KOMENDA College of Education. Honorable Deputy Minister, I want to repeat this one for you to hear. That the Ghana's education must improve because these young people were educated by KOMENDA College of Education, ASAI. In the 75 years of her existence, what our college has been known for is the production of high-quality teachers who contribute to the development of our nation. And I'll tell you, in my university, I have people that attended KOMENDA College teaching there, and they are showing themselves very well. Teachers trained by this institution are teachers who are dedicated to what they have been educated to do, and thereby producing for the country a generation of young persons who desire to seek further education to the extent of being as the teacher who taught them. That you will teach and your people will one day say, I became a teacher because Madam so and so taught me. And some of us are examples of the people we saw teach us at various levels in education, and we said we want to be like them. Mr. Chairman, I know the steady rise in the college's performance, and we'll leave that one for the presentation. But you here, presently, as graduates, have a head start, and I like what the Honorable Deputy Minister also mentioned. You have a head start because you are going out with a bachelor's degree, not a diploma, nor a certificate A. We went out with a certificate A. Others that came earlier went out with certificate B. But you have a setting off at a high level to begin in teaching. And therefore, I will encourage you to provide quality teaching and learning experiences for your learners. Why? Why? Because you do not now have to struggle to want to take a first degree and thereby have your learners compete with you and your books for your quality time. And as a teacher educator, I visited schools, and you see teachers write exercises on the board, and instead of going around to check how students are faring, they now sit down and use the time to go through their model. Your learners will not find that now, because you already have your degrees, and so don't let them compete with the time that you have. Time for pre-lesson preparations, teaching by deploying appropriate and relevant techniques, as well as post-lesson activities. You have been educated from a carefully designed framework. And I listened to Mr. Ayamba talk about your anxiety in beginning a program. Yours was from a framework. When we came, and I came along with one of my mates, my good friend, when we came, when they said, hey, there's a meeting at the Institute of Education every 2 weeks, they will come and say, oh, they say this one is not part. Let's begin this part. So yours was not as in the early 90s, where the curriculum was modified, if not changed, after almost every meeting called by the affiliate institution. I want to urge you and encourage you to seek continuous improvement in yourselves and in your teaching skills or practices. Be conscious of self-improvement and be deliberate about it. If you like, be intentional about it. Join professional learning communities. Seek advancement in the appropriate area of your specialization. I was discussing with Professor J that my thinking is that you would have been told where you have been trained for, and so you won't want to cross and say, oh, I hold a degree, so I should teach here, I should teach there. Your degree is cut for a specific level of education, and that is what your training is about. And so in seeking advancement, seek that advancement in that area. For example, if you hold a B.Ed in primary education, and you go and read MSc in industrial mathematics, for me, you are out of the game. No explanation to me will let me agree if I were a district education officer or whoever is responsible for your promotion. No letters, no argument, no whatever will get me to promote you on the basis of that master's. Why? Because it's not relevant to your area. And so seek advancement in the appropriate area of your specialization. Going through what you have, you will read about your tutors. B.Ed, mathematical education, MPhil, mathematical education, PhD, mathematical education. Finished. Seek excellence, for according to Aristotle, excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. And this dawn, listening to one of my motivation messages, I heard that excellence is not by accident. Excellence is not by accident. It is by a coordinated, calculated effort. So you don't sit down, see your friend excel in an area. And you know, one of the things people do when they can't catch up with you, they try to write you off. Oh, this one, what is it? This one, what is it? The athlete, 100-meter athlete, who runs under 10 seconds, didn't just get up there and run. Many years of experience put him there. The keyboardists, when you see them playing the keyboard, some of them can even play it with their elbows, depending on what type of gender is there. So, did they do it just by the minute? No. They have spent years of training, and when it comes to the delivery, they deliver. And so excellence is not by accident. Seek excellence. Explore and adapt to new ways of doing things. Now you'll be moving to your stations. There are some stations, when we were living here, they told us that there are some stations you will stand at the bank of the river and shout, Ago, they'll say, why I say, me teach any food from now, yedi me abahano. Na mpese mi twem na me ba, they say, twen, yedi kanu nu beba befa. You know, so we are going to go into new areas, places we have not been before. Some of us, we've not stayed alone before. When we get there, we need to adapt to these new ways of doing things. Some of us will go to the teacher's life as a town letter writer, a translator, chief special assistant, assembly member, and all that. We need to adapt to new ways of doing things. Embrace change, for according to Paula White Cain, don't be afraid of change. You might lose something good on the road to something great. You might lose something good on the way to something great. Be the change agent that the Bachelor of Education programs for the colleges of education have been designed to produce. Graduates, teachers, the status quo of and the long-held approach to work in the public sector in our schools especially should change. It should change because you are out there in the schools. You have not been trained as they were trained. And I like the analogy the Deputy Minister mentioned. You are going with a degree, and you are going to meet people who have struggled to make the degree. You are going to meet those who do not have the degree. Are you going to work the way they work? Say, oh, this is how we do it. Say, I had the man here. With who degree now? Or you are who degree? Can no do them. But we can find ways to let them know. And you know, one of the ways is by how we act. When does school start? If school begins at 7 and you want a change, you get there at 6:30. Be consistent. They will see why. They will ask, why is NYARKO Samson always here? Oh, you too know, Papa, degree free. It's a way of your life. So when they look at you, they will copy you and live by you. Please be part of the movement for change. And also remember Mother Asai, your alma mater. Come back and help. Join any Komenko Old Students Association close to where you will be stationed. I wish you God's blessings, God's guidance, and God's speed in all your endeavors. Long live education in Ghana. Long live teacher education in Ghana. Long live KOMENDA College of Education. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Thank you.